Can we talk about why is development so challenged right now? And I think it's everyone kind of sees the same thing, right? Like there's projects being canceled. There's not a lot of new pre-sale launches right now. Prices have come off, but I don't know. Is it policy, affordability, financing, all of the above, none of the above?
Depends how much time you have.
What makes this market so challenging? No buyers.
Depends how much time you have. All of the above.
Yeah.
No, you guys have heard this before, right? It's the cost of delivery, right? It is, and this isn't just an overnight thing. This has been layered on for a lot of years, right? There's some bad policy. Again, the statement of the 30+% of the cost of a home goes towards fees and taxes, and it's been slowly creeping up, and the market has been able to sort of pick that up in regards to getting, if there's a policy that adds $20-30 a foot to the cost of a home, the development industry, or the housing industry rather, I want to try to get away from saying development. I think housing I feel like the word developer has been sort of vilified, but the housing industry has been able to sort of adjust to that, but as sort of the momentum or prices have increased along with those charges. I think we're at a point now where you're at that breaking point where the market, being just people with income and a normal job, have said, listen, it's too much. Maybe 2-3 years ago at X dollars per foot, I could stretch, and now we're getting to a point where it's just getting a little bit more than where the market could bear. And so yeah, without I don't want to go too into the weeds on all the things you just noted, but yeah, certainly like there's just bad policy, and I'll give you one, and I don't want to rant too much, but you look at something like a inclusionary housing policy. Yes, it's great, the intent is there, it's well intended, but when you say, well, you build a rental building, but 20% of those homes have to be at an affordable rate. In order to do so, that other 80% of those homes have to pick up the slack for that. So yes, you're getting a lower rental rate on these 20%, but those other 80% now have to top that up. Whereas if we had built just a 100% market rental building, you could average back down. Do you get what I'm saying? Like if those inclusionary homes, you have to average the balance of the building up. Whereas if you were just 100% market rental, you're now sort of at a more of an even playing field. And again, I'm not saying what's right or wrong. We need affordability, no question. But to put it solely on the backs of either a home builder or the other, the general 80% of those tenants that are, working hard just to make ends meet, I don't think that's good policy.
This is the thing about places like in New York City that I've never understood, where somebody, it's like a family gets a rent controlled property that, they spend their entire life protecting it because it's so valuable. Whereas the guy down the street is paying, 19 times more in rent or whatever. It just seems like there's, without going into right or wrong, I like that. It's just like somebody's got to pay for it.
Yeah.
And if it's a developer, you're not going to build it unless you can make a profit, because it's just like the logic of the business. Or it's the 80% of the building that has to pay more in rent to subsidize the others who are either in need or lucky enough to acquire one, or however it actually those get doled out. But it seems like I don't know, there's got to be a better way, although I'm not sure anyone solved it. But
Yeah. And you see that in older rental stock where, again, kind of loaded conversation where, yes, there's a threshold on how much you should be able to increase the rent annually. But also, if you minimize what that increase is, it pushes that CapEx onto the new tenant. So the second somebody leaves, I got to make it up now. And so I think that's what you're getting at, Matt, is those other homes now are picking up the slack of the other percentage that are paying a below market rent. And it's challenging, right? And then it goes back to the landlord being vilified that they have to charge higher rent, but it does have to come from somewhere. We work with non-for-profits. We're big advocates of that. We're getting very active into that. But at the same time, not all of the private sector has to be non-for-profit. Like you said, if I open up a hot dog stand and I go get a business loan, I got to go to that bank to prove that I make a profit. I'm not selling hot dogs at a loss. So it's, like the developer gets vilified that, oh, gee, you made a profit. It's like, well, I don't really have much of a choice in the sense of, if I go to a lender, do I have a choice if I'm a non-for-profit? Yes. But I'm saying, if I go as a viable business and go to a lender, I need to show that I make a profit. It's just,
Right.
I don't think you have to go to school to figure that out.
Well, and like last week, we found out about River District and West Group canceling a project that I think they'd already excavated the site, if I heard that
Ardia, right? I
correctly.
think it was 50% sold too.
Well, yeah, and I mean, now we're seeing it, right? Like if the numbers don't pencil, like
Yeah.
large developers like West Group just won't build. So what motivates you in a market like this to keep moving forward and keep developing or keep building?
Gosh, I need a couch and a pillow.
Yeah, lie down, fetal position.
Very similar to answer what we were saying before was, I do think it's, I think we live in a beautiful city. I think the, the table setting in regards to where we live, just, take a macro Canada, British Columbia down into Vancouver. Like, I do believe we live in a great place. And again, it's funny. Peter Edgar, his brother Henry, comes out from Edmonton, and he goes, every time I'm here, he goes, like, I stay in the hotel and I go walk on the seawall. He goes, man, he goes, I have such faith in this Vancouver market. Because, like, you forget what you have here sometimes, right? Like, it is a really great place to live, So I think as developers, we're a little bit, I think we're eternal optimists. I think we sort of have to be. I don't really have a choice. I don't know anything else. So, but, we are, our company, we are doing a few different things where, yes, we acknowledge that the market is slower and we're not building as many rental buildings or as much strata as we want to. But that said, we've started a new division of Edgar where, or if you want to just kind of, it's fee for service work where there are non-for-profits, there's groups that are either very well capitalized or they have an idea, whether it's a construction company that wants to be more active or a non-for-profit. So we've been branching that out and really doing like a fee for service work. We got really bright people in our office, great analysts, great development team, great construction, our VP construction, really bright guy. So we've been actually out there consulting and sort of, being a development manager for other groups. And so that's kept us quite busy.